day of Carlisle. I'm doing some last minute fixes like the trim across the rear window, but I ran into a problem on the other side. As you can see, I'm waiting on this piece. I'm gonna pick it up from Mark at Carlisle, but I've glued this in from the old door, and these two are coming from the rear doors as well. But on the other side, here's what's going on. So I've got this piece glued in. I'm about to glue in that top piece, but I have this piece that comes up here and it's supposed to rivet in right here. I let go of it and it slipped down in here. And just to show you, all of that is body worked. That's sealed toward the bottom. It's adhered across the back and it's riveted in here. So I was freaking out for a few seconds thinking, how am I gonna get this in here? I thought about going MacGyver and like putting a magnet down there and trying to fish it out, but I have not made the hole for my vent yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill into the aluminum on the inside and fish out that missing piece. Thank goodness this thing is made out of metal. Just need to be able to reach it up. That is the sound of success, you guys. Woo! Thank goodness for quick thinking. Could have been bad. All right, let's get this thing installed. Now I think we're ready for Carlisle. Now I still plan to finish up some things on the car, like the rear tailgate inside and some of the little trim pieces, but I think it's good enough to start showing. And in a future episode, I'll probably tackle the rear, bring that down about an inch, inch and a half, take care of that tailgate, and a few other odds and ends that will make me really, really happy with how it turns out. But for now, it's time to have fun, enjoy some other Smith Utes and Carlisle Truck Nationals. Let's get on the road. So we got a big problem. I measured the width of the wheels and I measured the width of the trailer when I picked it up, and it looked really close, but it does not line up. This is going to be way too close for this. Take a look at that. It's going to curb up on this right here. So I'm going to have to put the regular wheels back on, and hopefully it sucks in the side enough to where I can still get it up there. It's just way too close for comfort. Look at that. All right, let's get it back off. So I pulled the all-wheel drive fuse and swapped out the passenger side wheels, and things were looking good as I drove it onto the trailer until I ran out of gas. Insult to injury, hill start assist kicked in, which prevented me from getting the car back off of the lift. But once I put a couple gallons in her, she was ready to drive back on. All right, so we got the Hell Ute all loaded up. We're getting ready to head over to Carlisle right now. It's a couple hours driving for us, so we're just gonna take it nice and slow. We'll get there this afternoon and we'll go live soon enough, so be able to see it on Instagram. But just so proud that we've made it to this point. This is 8 months in the making for the Supercharger, for the Smith bodywork, and the tailgate conversion, paint, everything that we've done on it. Special thanks to Mark, Cooper, and Kim over at Smith Performance for making this body possible. Thank you to Harry and Mike over at CFR. Without them, none of this would have been possible. So thank you all. I'll make you all proud. everybody. So it's 11:50 at night. I need to catch you all up on what happened after we got to the hotel. My initial plan was for us to clean the car, detail it, and then drive it right over to the show field. But the Charger had other plans. Unfortunately, it looked like the fuel pump went out because as we were trying to drive out of the parking lot, it just stalled. Gray smoke coming out of the exhaust for a fraction of a second, and then it wouldn't start back up. Now, thankfully, I installed my fuel pressure sensor in there, and I have a gauge on the A-pillar. So I was able to see that I was getting less than 10 pounds of fuel pressure. Initially, we thought we just ran out of gas, which I feel like we did. So Marianne was great enough to run over to the gas station. She grabbed about 3 gallons. I put it in the car, and I saw the needle move up, but still no fuel pressure was generated. We tested the relay, the fuse, both fuses actually, and still nothing. So with all that, it's probably time to replace this pump. Now, if you're familiar with the dyno tuning session and all of that, then you know that I've been having problems with this pump since day one. This is a 525 LPH Hellcat fuel pump from Quantum, and at wide open throttle, I was getting maybe like mid 40s on the PSI, and it should be 65. I just thought we were having insufficient voltage issues or something like that, but no. So the car had other plans. We did not make it out of the hotel lot. Thankfully, Scott came to the rescue again. If you saw my roll cage video, then you saw that Scott helped me, bend all that bar up and get everything, installed. So he came over. We tried to knock out that ring, that retaining ring on the fuel pump. It just was not going. So we called it a night after 6 hours trying to go to AutoZone in advance and find a pump that may work. We don't even know if it will work, but we're gonna find all that out in the morning. I expect to be able to make it to the show field for judging by 10 a.m. That's my goal. So Home Depot opens up at 6 a.m. and I plan to get over there, be the first one there, so I can get some tools to help free up that retaining ring and pop it off. We're gonna get our new pump in there. I won't be able to do wide open throttle pulls with it because it's not highly rated. I think it's like a 160 liter per hour pump. That was the best I can find that was available, but it will run and it will make it. So that's all I can ask. I'm gonna get some sleep and then we'll try this out in the morning. While we were sleeping, Scott and Sophie did a round trip, went an hour home and back, and came back with the tools we needed to break that ring and get the replacement pump on there. Marianne and I are so thankful to have them in our lives. Not sure what I would have done without their help.
Sorry.
Nothing, really? Try now. Wow.
Fucking A.
Yo.
That's just all that raw fuel from when you test drive started.
All right, so that is Carlisle Truck Nationals. It's a wrap. We were able to get the car over here despite all the setbacks, and we were able to get everything done. And thank you to my lovely wife for making everything possible. Scott, Sophie, couldn't have done it without you all. It really takes a community to build one of these, and I'm excited to see what things are to come. So thanks for watching. Talk to you in the next one. All right, so it's been a few days since Carlisle. We're back at the house, and now I need to fix the fuel problem once and for all. Here's what we got. Beneath this panel is the Toyota fuel pump. And while that was good enough to get us onto the show field, back on the trailer, and back home, it won't be good enough for us to stomp on the pedal or even give it 50% throttle. So instead of going with a 525, I ended up going with a 450 Walboro. Now, everything that I chose here is strategic for one or more reasons. First off, we went with a 450 because there's been a lot of talk online about the 525 overheating the pump supply wiring. It's a thinner gauge, and I don't want to go with a booster pump just yet. So if I can get the type of performance that I'm looking for without going with increased wiring or with a booster pump, I'll just stick with the 450. It should be more than adequate to supply the fuel that this car needs. Remember, this hose that came with the pump is supposed to be fuel submersible and safe, but it melted basically, and we were unable to get adequate fuel pressure from it. So instead, I'm going with the OEM solution of a plastic-based fuel supply line. And we know that's going to be submersible, it's going to stand the test of time, so it should be more than adequate. And I also got some clamps to go along with it. That's OEM spec. So the only thing that's left to do after we remove our bolts is get this all off and get access to our pump again. All right, so we're headed over to Cars and Coffee. This is Katie's Cars and Coffee in Great Falls. They routinely have Ferraris and GT40s and all types of rare and expensive cars. So kind of crashing the party with my retired cop car here. But we expect to get some good turnout, some folks looking at what we're doing and commenting about the build. So check it out. The car is doing really well. We got 60 pounds of pressure. It drops down to like 55 under wide open throttle. So feeling really good about that. Supercharger cooling is right around 75 degrees. And it's maybe about 72 right now. And at wide open throttle, I'm getting like 11 AFR, which is really, really good. 14 while I'm cruising with the foot on the pedal. So I'm just gonna enjoy the drive. It's about half an hour more until we get to Katie's, and then we'll cut you on that.
Get all the attention.
He's Australian for sure.
Dude. Yeah, man, I got my used to chop off.
The license plate is how we use.
Wait, let's see the back.
That was bought it. But stock, it comes with a Ranger tailgate. I wanted to adapt the charging. So that's custom metal work that I did. I'll show you guys the light side. Yeah.
This is cool as shit. Did you do the work yourself, or did you have somebody else do it?
I did have.
Oh, nice. Who loved it? That's wild. What a great sense of car guy tends to.
He's got the original license.
Like a
Then, you know. That's pretty cool.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. It's about 6 months. Yeah. For the supercharger and the body work.
What made you do it?
Honestly, the lack of small trucks.
You don't like the Maverick? you don't want Santa Cruz?
No way.
It's so different. In a sea of the same. All the cars look the same. All the trucks look the same.
All right, everybody, so that's a wrap. Carlisle is down, we are back, and we placed second. So shout out to Daryl and Paul. They also placed in the winner's circle. It was great seeing a lot of the Smith builders and putting faces to the names, since we usually just chat amongst each other in our Facebook group. Katie's was a great time too. If you're watching the channel now because you saw me at Katie's, drop a note in the comments. Big news for the channel, we are officially going to SEMA. SEMA is a convention that happens every year in November in Vegas, where we showcase all of the latest products and happenings across the automotive marketplace. And thanks to CFR, we will be there with the Hellcat. So if you're interested in any products on CFR's website, check them out. You get 10% off with keyword Bernie. Also, if you're interested in upgrading your fuel system on your Hemi, I do have the 450 fuel kit. It has gone live on my website. Although it feels like the car is finished, there's still a lot of work left to do. I want to start on the tonneau cover right away. I have to finish the interior and finish some cosmetic bits in order to get the car exactly the way I want it. It's going to be on display, and I have to put my best foot forward and represent CFR in the best way. But thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know how I did. Talk to you in the next one.